of storytelling session. I'm going to take you through the film industry. I'm going to tell you stories from movies. We'll do it in more than one part. So today I'll be restricting it to three major areas. Of course, Mumbai, Kolkata. That's where I was born. So I will be touching Kolkata and Tamil Nadu. Three industries I'll be touching today. And as I'm telling these stories, I may hum a few songs here and there. If anybody feels like humming along with me, you're welcome. Please be, interactive, and I would like you to contribute in any which way you can. All you have to do is, there is an icon there, reactions. The icon, there will be a hand symbol. If you click on the hand symbol, your hand symbol will come on and you can contribute. And this is for applause. If you like something, this is the sign for applause. This is a sign for amazing. Okay. And then if you want to say anything, of course, you can put your reaction there, or you can raise your hand and keep it raised. And let's sit back and have fun. Okay. So I'm going to start my story with a composition of music director called Khayyam. Khayyam's wife was Jagjit Kaur. She was an accomplished singer herself. And if you can recall the song, Tum apna ranjogam, apni pareshani mujhe de do. This was from the movie Shagun, featuring an actor called Kamaljit Singh and Wahida Rahman. It was all to do about astrology, and the girl was a Mangalik, though the parents opposed. That was the story. But what remained in the minds of the audience in the 60s, this movie was made in the 60s, what remained in the mind of the audience in this movie was when this song, Tum apna ranjogam, apni pareshani mujhe de do. When the song was picturized on an exceptionally stunning, beautiful lady called Nivedita. That was her screen name. People kept looking at the screen or the dimple on her right cheek, and nobody's eyes left the screen. The actress' real name was Libby Rana. And people forgot everybody else, and everybody went to see the movie for the sake of Libby Rana. What an exceptionally beautiful person she was. After that, she acted in a movie called Jyoti with Sanjeev Kumar. And the name was Nivedita. Then there was a movie called Dharti Kahe Pukar Ki, in which she again acted as with Sanjeev Kumar. But she did not play the lead role. The lead role was played by Nanda. And what happened, we don't know. All the others shone really very well. But this actress disappeared from the scene quietly. She was later seen much later in a Zinataman featuring movie called Dhund, in which she came towards the end. And I think recently, in 1996 or something, she was seen in a movie called Jaan. This beautiful actress disappeared without a trace. There is no record of where she is. There are no photographs available. Nothing is available. They say once in Mumbai, in one of those Taj-related restaurants, she was spotted. And somebody went up to her and said, "Are you Nivedita Libby Rana?" She looked at him horrified and then disappeared, left the table and went away. We don't know what really happened to this beautiful actress. This is the story of Libby Rana. All you have to go is to go to YouTube, key in Tum Apna Ranjogam, and see this song for yourself. Not only is it an amazing piece of composition and excellent singing by Jagjit Kaur, but you will your eyes will remain locked on Libby Rana. She also acted in Dharti Kahe Pukar Ki as Sanjeev Kumar, and in Jyoti. These are the couple of movies she made, and she disappeared without a trace. A loss to the film industry. Even today, many people do not know what happened. But some sources say that, see, the movie industry is full of ups and downs. And in those ups and downs, there are a lot of fair weather friends, but you don't have friends who are there with you during rough weather. And Libby Rana did not have any rough weather friends. And, I think she left a very sad person, an exceptionally beautiful actress. History would have been different had she played. I mean, many actresses wouldn't have got a chance. That was Libby Rana, the story of Libby Rana. The next story is also a bit of disappointment. First two stories are sad stories. I thought I'll tell you sad stories. Deliberately tell you sad stories. People in the early 70s, there was a movie. The movie was a miserable flop. It had Shashi Kapoor, Sharmila Tagore playing the leads. The name of the movie was My Love. I don't know how many days it ran and where it ran. But two songs stand out. If any one of you know, can hum the song. Zikr hota hai jab क़यामत का तेरे जलवों की बात होती है. प्रकाश सिंह जी गाइए साथ, अनम्यूट. तू जो चाहे तो दिन निकलता है, तू जो चाहे तो रात होती है. This was composed by a music director called Dan Singh. And he simply played around with instruments, in that. You should listen to the pre-music of this verse. तुझको देखा है मेरी नजरों ने, तेरी तारीफ हो मगर कैसे. Excellent composition. Outstanding composition by Dan Singh. There was one more song in this movie, again by Dan Singh, for the broken hearts. People should listen to this song. वो तेरे प्यार का गम एक बहाना था सनम, अपनी किस्मत ही कुछ ऐसी थी कि दिल टूट गया. वो तेरे प्यार का गम क्या बात है, बहाना था सनम, अपनी किस्मत ही कुछ ऐसी थी कि दिल टूट गया. ये ना होता तो कोई दूसरा गम होना था. बहुत खूब. मैं तो वो हूँ हर हाल में बस रोना था, मुस्कुराता भी तो झलक जाती नजर, अपनी किस्मत भी कुछ ऐसी थी कि दिल टूट गया. What a composition. Or in this song, the beauty was he played two Western instruments with greatness. One was the piano, the other was the saxophone. He played on the saxophone. It was an amazing composition. And after this, he virtually disappeared without a trace. Nobody heard of dancing after that. He was a regular in All India Radio Jaipur. And he played assistant. He did a lot of assistant work for music director Khem Chand Prakash. Khem Chand Prakash was famous for the song Aega, Aega, He was quite famous for that, and he did a lot of work for Khemchand Prakash. Nitin Mukesh, when he heard about the death of Dan Singh, said that he was an amazing, and nobody really knew what happened and why he didn't make it big in the industry. But what was sad about dancing was he never really cried about his failure, if you can call it that. Maybe he was a philosopher. And once when somebody talked to him, he said, "वो गाना आपने सुना है ना, अपनी किस्मत ही कुछ ऐसी थी." He said, "किसी को दोष ठहराने वाली बात नहीं है, I'm like that. मैं तो वो हूँ." So that was his type. And Mukesh told that they will remember his compositions much after we are gone. Remember, these songs came in 1970. This is 2022. 52 years later, we are still singing those songs. Amazing personality, dancing. Two very great people we should remember. So one was, of course, Libby Rana, dancing. Please go to YouTube and play these two songs and listen to these songs. They're available on karaoke. If anybody wants to sing, you can sing that together someday. The lovely songs. The third is the story of Shailendra. Now, Shailendra made it very big. He made it very big in life, and he was known as Raj Kapoor's songwriter, lyricist. But he had a very tough beginning in life. And a very, very tough beginning in life. And there was a time when he had nothing to eat. And they say, it was one of those times, it was Shivratri time or something like that. He was passing by and he saw a Shiva Mandir there. He just went there. He grabbed some sheets of paper and wrote a few lines on Lord Shiva and put it away and forgot about it. Much later, music director S.N. Tripathi, when he was going through these notebooks, he found something scribbled. He looked at the song. He said, "My God, this song was an amazing composition." And for Sangeet Samrat Tansen, he composed this into music and made it a song. Hey Nataraj, Hey Nataraj, Gangadhar Shambho Bholenath, Jai Ho, Jai Ho, Jai 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 Vishwanath. This was the composition of S.N. Tripathi in the movie Sangeet Samrat Tansen. And they were looking for somebody who could sing at this pitch, Hey Nataraj, a young boy's voice. They wanted a lady's voice to sing in this high pitch. Gangadhar Shambho. For a man, they immediately picked up Mahendra Kapoor, no problem. But after a long search for the lady, they found the singer Kamal Barot. And the song was picturized on a young boy. And then subsequently it was picturized on Bharat Bhushan. And the song became a super hit. And then Shailendra was a name to reckon with in composition. They asked him, "Why did you write it? And when you were sitting in the Shiv Mandir, why don't you ask for success?" He said, "Yaar, Bhagwan ki sharan mil jaye, bahut badi baat hai. Kya hum mangenge?" That was Shailendra's words. He said, "Unki sharan mil jaye," so that would have been wonderful. So that was one of the first few songs of Shailendra, which made him absolutely world famous, and India famous, world famous, and excellent compositions. We can go on about Shailendra's composition. The beauty was the choice of Kamal Barot as a singer, chosen by our S.N. Tripathi ji. Right? So 3 songs, 3 situations. Let's take a tour now. From Bombay se aage chalte hain na. Let's go towards North Punjab. Let's take a trip to Punjab. In 1948-49, around 48-49, around 1948-49. There was this person from Punjab who went to Singapore to work in a drum mill. Well, they wanted somebody with a strong physique, and this man was about 6'3" tall. 128 kilos, 240 pounds. Solidly built character, 56-inch chest and things like that. Guess who is he? Anybody? He became a famous cinema actor later. Dara Singh.
Dara Singh.
Dara Singh. Dara Singh. Dara Singh went to Singapore in 1949 or something like that. He started working in Singapore. And then there during these sport times, he started, doing that Pahalwani, Indian style wrestling. And decided that had more future. And then he came back to India. And then he went on series of wrestling things and became world famous. After he became very famous, sometime in 62, 63, he used to play stuntman roles in Hindi movies. I think in 62 or 63, they cast him as a lead. And in a movie called King Kong. And his heroine was Mumtaz, I think. Mumtaz, those days, she was playing B-grade roles, and she acted in 17 movies with him as a number 2, as his lead heroine. You should see those, 6 foot 3 inches fellow romancing with somebody 5 foot 4. It was fun watching those black and white movies. And those days in the 60s, Dara Singh used to be paid 4 lakh rupees per movie. And from these kind of roles, he went into what is called bhakti roles, Nanak, Dukhya, Sara, Sansari, made those movies. He started a unit called Dhara Films in which he produced movies. His younger brother Randwa was a actor. His sons and I think Viru is also famous in the movie industry. He did well till he passed away at the age of 83 in 2011. What remained in people's mind were a couple of characters that he played. In the movie Mahabharat, which was made for the first time in the 60s, he played Bhim Sen. And much later, in the TV serial Ramayan, he played Hanuman. And these were the 2 roles, remember? And then if you had seen the movie Har Har Gange, he played when he played Maheshwara, Shiva, he played those roles. The beauty was somebody who moved from what is called a wrestler, a drum mill worker, to a wrestler, to a very successful film actor. He played a small negative role in Raj Kapoor's Mera Naam Joker. And if you had seen the movie Anand, he was the one who plays a wrestler, runs an akhada, who will come saving Rajesh Khanna. He played some cameos, which we all remember Dara Singh very well. Something very excellent about his film career and sports career is flawless character. There is no black mark. They say even Chand pe bhi daag hai. But Dara Singh's movie industry career, sports career did not have any kind of flaw. Flawless character. And like when he graduated into playing the roles of the bhaktas and all those roles, they said he had also transformed as a human being towards that. So this is from Punjab. Can we go further? Before I bring you back to Bombay. I am from Kolkata, born, brought up, educated in Kolkata. My friend Radha Krishnan here is from Kolkata. My friend Shumit here is from Kolkata. I can't but stay out. You can take a Bengali out of Calcutta, but you can't take Kolkata out of us. That's our. So I must take you to Kolkata. I must take you to Tollygunge. I must take you. This is possibly going to be the longest story that I'm going to talk about. The character born in 1926, September 1926, in a upper middle class Bengali Brahmin family, Aurum Kumar Chatterjee. His name was Arun Kumar Chatterjee. And sometime at the age of 22, 23, he always had a liking for theater. But finally, when he got into the movie industry at 23, there are 2 things people liked about him. Those days, in let's say late 40s, early 50s, he had that Humphrey Bogart hairstyle and a smile which could bring millions to their standstill. Mishti Hashi, we used to say it in Bengali. a sweet smile which could bring millions to stand still. They say in the 50s, why 50s, even today, when you see this actor smile, a lot of women go weak on the knees. Okay. The name of that character is Uttam Kumar. Please go into YouTube and see some of his movies. A true thespian who never got recognized, I would say, at the international level. He should have been on par with Marlon Brando's and for just that range of roles that he played. From a debonair hero, a debonair playful hero from a movie called Deya Neya, which was made in Hindi with Rajesh Khanna, as I don't remember the name of the movie. Anurod. Yeah, name of the movie was Anurod. It was made in Bengali with Uttam Kumar in the lead. Deya Neya. Should listen to him. And that, oh my God, that brilliant laughter of his, that smile. Tanuja was the heroine. And he plays as a, brought up in a very strict family, but he loved singing. His father never loved singing. And finally, his father appreciates him. It's a lovely story. You should see that sometime. Deya Neya. Please see. From a debonair hero to a playful hero, hilarious role. There's a movie called Choddo Beshi. Choddo Beshi means disguise. All of you might have seen the movie Chupke Chupke in Hindi, Dharmendra. The role was originally played by Uttam Kumar. You should see the movie where, you know, the way he speaks and something, you know, he played a very hilarious kind of role there. From that, there's one more story which for me, I'm so fond of him. I hope by the end of this storytelling session, all of you become as fond of him as I am. One more story which I love of Uttam Kumar is a negative character when he played when he was fairly young person, not when he had lost his market and was struggling for a living. Even in his heydays, he was a very young person, hardly in his mid-30s. You must see this movie called Stree, in which he plays a debauched Bengali zamindar who ill-treats his wife. For him, the wife is just a plaything, and debauched zamindar, and finally he suspects his wife of having an affair with someone he knows and shoots that fellow dead. And he himself shoots himself dead. A negative character to the core all along. The kind of language he spoke, those days Bengali had the typical Tamil theatre kind of a rich language. It was Uttam Kumar. He brought it down to a language which people understood. Sri was a character you should see. You should see a movie called Lal Pathor, made in Hindi as Lal Patthar, an arrogant, semi-insane aristocrat. You should see that movie. I'm saying you must have seen the movie in Hindi. It says, Macho say, Rajkumar says. You should listen. I mean, I'm fond of him, so I'll be a little biased. Haddiyana, he'll say. You will feel like you're not touching anything in the theater. So that's a kind of emotion he brought into Uttam Kumar in these two negative roles. There was another movie made, Shahid Bibi or Gulam, Shahid Bibi Gulam, in which, in the same debauched kind of zamindari atmosphere, he played a naive young man from a village. His name was Bhutnath. Lovely character, which was played in Hindi by Guru Dutt. Much of these movies were inspired by the roles played by in Bengali by Uttam Kumar. One more movie which I would recommend all of you to see was a movie called Shesh Anko, The Last Sum or something like that. It was made in Tamil. People who follow Tamil movies, it was made in Tamil as Pudiya Paravai. This fellow comes from Malaysia or Burma to India. He wants to marry another person, and then suddenly his wife surfaces. And he tries to prove that this is not his wife. All evidences go against him, and finally he has to confess that he killed his first wife. In the black and white movies of those days, if you wanted to see what was underplay, you should see this movie. You will say, hey, Amar Bo hote pare na. Why she can't be my wife? Somebody will say, Kano hote pare? He will show his hands. Hey, had diye marriage. I killed her with these hands. Oh my God. Underplaying, that's all. No bang, bang, jing, bang music. Please see these movies. See the movie Randro Chaya, which was made much later. Then there was a movie which I really loved, uh, and for his underplayed acting, that was a movie was called Jodi Jantam. Lovely movies. Anthony Firingi. I can go on. I can give you a whole day storytelling program only on Uttam Kumar. Yes. Thank you, Mahesh for reminding me. He also made a mark in Hindi movies. You know what I missed? I missed some lovely songs of Mohammad Rafi on Uttam Kumar. He sang a few songs, no doubt, from the movie Choti Si Mulakat. There was, one movie which was made, Choti Si Mulakat, which he put all his money in the movie and had Vaijanti Mala as a heroine, and it was shot in exotic locales and things like that. And yeah, Suresh Murthy ji, you want to share something?
Yeah, Nishi Podbo,
Nishi Podbo was Amar Prem, correct?
Amar Prem.
Correct.
How could you forget that? And Nayak.
Nayak, yeah. You know, the list is endless. Like I can have a whole program only on Uttam Kumar.
No,
Thank you, Suresh ji.
Nishi Poddo is something like that. Rajesh Khanna used to see the scene at least 15 times before he would enact that one.
Correct.
I thought that I should inform you.
See, I'm happy my friend Suresh, also from Kolkata, pointed this out. See, in the Hindi scene, in Amar Prem, there is a scene, when he walks in, she's singing that song, Rehna Beeti Jaye. He will walk in and Madan Puri will say, Anand Babu, and start, you should listen to Uttam Kumar say that. It's a very disgusted look on his face, he will say that. You should see that. Thank you, Suresh ji, for reminding this. Lovely movie, Nishi Poddo. It's an amazing movie. Then some of the Hindi movie, of course. This Choti Si Mulakat, he spent all his savings in that, and the movie was a flop. He lost a lot of money. And he had a heart attack soon after, and he didn't recover from that. In 1980, to July 24th, he passed away. There was a lovely song from the movie Choti Si Mulakat, picturized on Uttam Kumar with Rafi. Chand ki zebai, tu jhool jabaon mein, madhosh bahare bhi, lene lagi angdai. That's a lovely song picturized, but somehow the movie didn't click. Amanush was a big hit, where he played both the Bengali version and the Hindi version, the hero. One episode from Amanush I should mention. When it came to Hindi, it was not much of a problem really. The music director was Shamol Mitra. And when they were making the Bengali version, there's a song there, where Uttam Kumar makes fun of Utpal Dutt. Bipin Babur Karun Shoda Mita. There's a very lovely song. You should listen to that song. And Shamol Mitra was worried. How is he going to control Kishore Kumar? Because the song is such, the song is full of fun. And he says, I just can't control Kishore Kumar. How am I going to do it? So the director simply said, don't worry. Simply tell Kishore Kumar that this song is going to be picturized on Uttam Dutt. So he will manage. Please see, when you go to the Bengali version, play this song. Bipin Babur Karun Shoda. Please listen to this song and look at Uttam Kumar playing the role in this movie of Madhu Babu. You should see that. Then that was a movie, it was a lovely movie. Then we had Anand Ashram. But somehow I missed Rafi Abinyawar, Uttam Kumar in Hindi movies. Imagine some of those lovely songs of Rafi on Uttam Kumar. And much after he is gone, 42 years after he is gone, he has a fan following. Unbelievable fan following. There are certain personal things about his life. Till 1963, he was living with his regular wife. 1963, he just walked out of his house and set up an establishment with a leading actress of those days called Supriya Devi. And they set up house together and lived till his death. Um, I don't know, I wouldn't call it he just decided. And even today, the people don't talk about those issues, that kind of impact he left on people. He was an actor, director, musician. He could compose music. He could sing songs. He was a writer, a lyricist. He was he was a producer as well. In a way, there was nothing he couldn't do, kind of. And in one of those years, he was asked, every year during Mahalaya, if you can switch on All India Radio, you can listen to Chandi Pat, which is an early morning invocation of goddess Durga. And in Bengali tradition, we have a person called Virendra Krishna Bhadra who sings this. In one particular year, they made Uttam Kumar do this program. There was an uproar. The whole of Bengal arose. They said nothing doing. And immediately what happened was they apologized to the public, and next year Virendra Krishna Bhadra was restored. But the best part of it was Uttam Kumar personally went to Biren Babu and apologized. And Biren said, what is that to apologize? He said, this is your domain. And I don't know, maybe I got carried away with my image. That is an episode in Uttam Kumar's life. Just when he was less than 56, 54 years old, he passed away. And that was a day, tragic. And just a week later, Muhammad Rafi also passed away. And that ended. But Uttam Kumar's legacy continues. Nobody can forget Humphrey Bogart hairstyle, that smile of his. You should see. I can give you a lot of movies that you should see of Uttam Kumar. Okay, number of movies. Then what? Choti Si Mulaqat. Jibon Mrityu. You should see that. He played the Sardar role there. Vikram Singh. A number of such movies. A lot of movies. You can go on. The list is endless. And there are a lot of movies you can do. So from Bengal, I can tell you stories only about Bengal's music directors, which we'll reserve for another day. I want to tell you the story of the prince from a northeastern state who became a very good music director. Sachin Dev Burman. Princely family. We'll talk about it on another day. I'm going to take you down to South India and bring you down to South India. This is the story of a person. The moment I tell his middle name, everybody will know. All South Indians will know, but I'm not going to tell you the middle name now. His first name was Joseph, and his last name was Rodriguez. He was born in a wealthy family. His father was a publisher. He brought out a regular newspaper. And it was being, pre-independence time. So his father published something against the British government. So the British government seized the newspaper, closed them, and sent him to exile. Sent him on exile to Sri Lanka. Those days, yeah, correct. Raman Babu is very right. My friend Raman says Chandra Babu is the right name. So they were exiled to Lanka. Those days it was just Ceylon. The family was exiled to Ceylon. Right from a young age, the family was conservative. They didn't like all that, but he liked doing singing, caricaturing, like Charlie Chaplin style of thing. And he used to sing. And he started singing there, and everybody opposed him. There's one fellow called Gadapati who supported him and who financed his running away from Ceylon to India, to Tamil Nadu, to the film industry. And there he started meeting a few people, and he made friends with one of those Telugu filmmakers, Pantulu. And during those days, he used to hang around these cinema studios, Gemini Studio in particular. So people who are familiar with Chennai, Gemini Studio used to be in a very prominent place, where the American embassy is bang opposite that. Diagonally opposite that, there used to be Gemini Studio. The flyover was not there. Gemini Studio was popular, and you could see that red marquee with those two young boys in loincloth playing the that picture was very, very popular there. And they say he used to hang around this place for a very long time every day, with the hope of meeting S.S. Vasan. He didn't get a chance to meet. So what happened was, he consumed copper sulfate or something and committed suicide. Luckily, people around saved him. And one of the people who sent him to the, hospital was a young actor of those days who became famous by the name Gemini Ganesh. He was saved, and even today, I think suicide is a criminal offense. Kalpapa is a criminal offense. And when someone attempts suicide, he is brought before the judge for sentencing. A very beautiful story. The judge said, "Why did you want to commit suicide?" He said, "I didn't get a chance in the movies and therefore I wanted to commit suicide." So the judge said, "Are you such a good actor that they should give you a chance?" He said, "Yes, I'm a wonderful actor." He said, "Come on, act and show me." And he, I think, gave a string, a monologue from one of Shakespeare's plays. The judge was so impressed. He said, "What's the point in sentencing this fellow? I let him go. I don't send him to jail. I'm letting him free with a reprimand." He was allowed to go free. This story was heard by Gemini Studios' Malik S.S. Vasan, and they gave him a small role there. That was the beginning of his career, and he started acting in a number of movies after that. He had a very unique way of singing and acting. He brought in a lot of Western style of acting. And he sang for people, he sang for himself. Very, very nicely. Some of the songs, people from Tamil Nadu, there's that's quite a thing. So he had a very nice way of singing, dancing, and he became so famous that he was richer than many of the leading actors, superstars. He was one of those persons who constructed a house in which the car could go right up to the first floor private suite of his. That was the style in which he lived. But generally happens, people who do so well in life also have, perhaps, I don't know, it's not a judgment. The newspapers and the writers say he had a streak of arrogance in it. Those days, MGR was a very leading star. And when MGR walked in, the whole studio stood up. And Chandrababu was making a movie called Madi Vitti, something he was making. Madi Vitti, yeah, the poor man living on the first floor and higher floor means rich people. So he's a poor man living on the upper floors. He had MGR as a hero, and he was making that movie. And when MGR used to walk in, the whole unit used to go and he stand up and say, "This is how." And this fellow was a producer, right? He just crossed his legs. "So what if he has come? I am the fellow who's paying his salary." That was his arrogance. And they say, "No, someday I will tell you the story of MGR in full sometime." MGR, Rajinikanth also will cover sometime. MGR had a knack, they say. MGR, when he didn't like something, he used to do this. So when this was said, MGR did this, and that was a last call sheet that Chandrababu got from MGR, and all the creditors came back to claim their money, and then the fellow lived a life of penury. He had to leave his bungalow, and then he take recourse. He stayed in M.S. Vishwanathan's house for some time before he died. By the time he had also become an alcoholic, his personal life became a tragedy. There was a producer-director from Coimbatore whose daughter Sheila he married. The marriage happened with a lot of fanfare, but unfortunately, a few months after marriage, Sheila tried to commit suicide. He asked why. She said, "I'm in love with somebody else." That broke his heart. And he went away to the Himalayas for a long time. He became an alcoholic, and by the time he returned, he was a broken man. So a man who lived gloriously also had a very sorry death. That was Chandrababu. His full name, Joseph P. Chandrababu Rodriguez. Even today, you can go into. Okay, he died a penniless man, and when he died, it was all other actors like Shivaji Ganeshan all contributed for his funeral, and he was buried in the Cubil Island on Sanpo. That was where he was buried. That's something sad about his life. I'm not touching Malayalam industry today. That's a different subject altogether. We'll do it on another day. And I'll also take you to a trip to Hollywood sometime. I'll talk to you about some great Hollywood actors. And we'll have an exclusive day. What do you say, Sumit? Only on theatre. Storytelling on theatre. That's something. Okay. And at the end of this, I'll make some announcements for you on that theater thing. I want to tell you the story behind the composition of two songs. A lot of songs, but two songs in particular I wanted to share with you. People who saw the movie Khamoshi, you are familiar with the song? वो शाम कुछ अजीब थी. कोई साथ में गाइए. ये शाम
वो कल भी पास पास थी, वो आज भी करीब है. वो शाम कुछ अजीब थी.
वाह 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 वाह. झुकी हुई
निगाह में की है बलासी दबी हुई हंसी मेरी
जीन सा गुलाल था. मैं
सोचता था मेरा नाम गुनगुना रही है वो. मैं सोचता था मेरा नाम गुनगुना रही है वो. न जाने क्यों लगा मुझे कि मुस्कुरा रही है वो.
क्या बात है, क्या बात. बहुत खूब, बहुत खूब. प्रकाश सिंह जी, बहुत खूब, बहुत खूब, बहुत खूब. This song, this movie was, music direction was by Hemanta Kumar. And in this movie, there was a song by Hemanta Kumar, which was simply amazing, picturized on Dharmendra without showing his face. तुम पुकार लो, तुम्हारा इंतजार है. And Hemanta Kumar had planned to sing वो शाम कुछ अजीब थी. Rajesh Khanna wanted Kishore Kumar to sing this song. But imagine that fellow was a rookie, and you go and tell Hemanta Kumar met Kishore Kumar sing this song. They say Rajesh Khanna virtually put his career at stake, fell at Hemanta's feet, and said, Hemanta da, can you ask Kishore Kumar to sing वो शाम कुछ अजीब थी? Everybody thought Hemant Kumar going to explode in anger. Hemant Kumar chuckled. He said, Acha, Kishore, okay, try. And in one take, the song was passed. It was an amazing composition. It was picturized just under the Hooghly Howrah Bridge in Hooghly. You should see this black and white scene with Wahida Rahman and the background Kishore Kumar. What a composition. History-making song with a small request from Rajesh. Similarly, there was a movie called Zaharila Insan with Rishi Kapoor. And in that there is a song. O Hansini, Meri Hansini, kahan ud chali, mere armanon ke पंख लगा के कहाँ उड़ चली. Lovely. अरे प्रकाश सिंह जी क्या है, wonderful, बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत. So those days Shailendra Singh was rising as the voice of Rishi Kapoor after my शायर तो नहीं, that song. And then there's a song, हमने तुमको देखा. After the song, Shailendra Singh was known as the voice of Rishi Kapoor. And in this particular song, they say Rishi Kapoor requested the music director R.D. Burman, and he said, please don't tell this to Shailendra Singh, the fellow will be heartbroken. Try Kishore Kumar. The rest is history. What a composition. And thereafter, unfortunately, it happened. Shailendra Singh slowly lost out on the contracts. He lost out on Rishi Kapoor, and then he became Sachin's voice. And Sachin himself was not a big successful actor. So slowly, Kishore and Shailendra Singh also got weeded out, and then it happens. They say, Gardish mein ho tare, to aise kuch ho jata hai. It was the story of these two wonderful compositions. Okay. I want to introduce just two more characters. And if anybody willing to add something, please put on. I'm happy. I want to introduce two more characters here. One character was somebody who sang in 1973. And Rafi, when he heard him, he said, "Ye to mere jaisa hi gata hai. He sings like me." The song, I'll tell you the name of the singer later. The song was song from the movie Mere Gareeb Nawaz. तेरी नाहों की चाहत में तो मैं सब कुछ लुटा दूंगा मोहब्बत कैसे की जाती मोहब्बत कैसे की जाती मैं दुनिया को दिखा दूंगा. This fellow's name was Anwar. He was coached by the music master who coached Mahendra Kapoor. And Anwar was the person, and Rafi would have said, "Ye to mere jaisa gata hai. He's going to take my place." That's what Rafi is supposed to have said. And soon after hearing this, Mahmood produced a movie called Janta Havaldar. And that for Janta Havaldar, they took Anwar and he sang two songs. One was हमसे क्या भूल हुई जो ये सजा हमको मिली अब तो चारों ही तरफ बंद है दुनिया की गली. It was a hit. The movie was a hit. The song was a hit. But what happened to Anwar? He sang with all the leading ladies. But somewhere along the way, Anwar lost out. Thereafter, he is remembered for just two songs. Amitabh Bachchan, Shatrughan Sinha, Reena Rai starred. Zindagi imtihan leti hai, that one song. And one more song, in which, in that he sang,
yeah, that song, Zindagi Imtihan Leti Hai, Shatrughan Sinha and Shashi Kapoor, right? Not Amitabh Bachchan.
Amitabh, Shashi, maybe. I don't remember the characters. I only remember that the section was taped on Anwar.
Yeah, correct.
Zindagi imtihan leti hai, दोस्तों के जान लेती है. This one, and then he sang a song from the movie, हाथों के लकीरों का.
Yep.
After these, Anwar disappeared without a trace. So a little bit of research on Anwar says that during the time when he was speaking, sometimes they say, pride comes before a fall. And when he was, rates were being, naturally, it always happens. New people are not paid much. And when he was asked for the fee and things, then after negotiating, he said, "What is the fee?" They said, "Newcomers don't talk fee. They take what the music directors give them." He said, "Kya baat hai? Hum Rafi ke barabar gaate hain and you won't even talk fees to me." That was possibly his downfall. Rafi ke barabar doesn't mean you are Rafi. And those were the days when Rafi was still doing well. Rafi, it was not, Rafi passed away only in 80. And Rafi did nothing to him. But the reputation of Rafi and trying to equate with Rafi did a lot of damage to Anwar. And then he disappeared without a trace. And his father had two families. Arshad Warsi, who acts in these movies, is his half-brother. There was another half-sister called Asha Sachdev. He never had any good relations with them. And then they say he used to sing in bars in the evening, like Mohammad Rafi, to keep his grahasti going. And he used to travel to the USA to sing some songs there. And that's how one promising career came to an end. Before I go to the next character, This character, I'm sorry, if you have seen the movie Mera Gaon, Mera Desh, there's a song. I शर्माऊं किसी किसी को बताऊं कैसे कैसे मैं बताऊं गरीबी अपनी प्रेम कहानियां अपन. So in that she says, I शर्माऊं who she do. They wanted the actress to do this expression. The director couldn't tell her how to do, the choreographer couldn't do. So please play that song and see. This character is called Lakshmi Chaya. Hi Sharma. The way she moves her face, it's a outstanding piece of acting. See, these extras don't get featured in the main cast. They come in the second. Lakshmi Chaya was one of those characters whose name featured in the main cast. So you see Dharmendra, Asha Parekh, Vinod Khanna, Lakshmi Chaya, her name will come. She played just this role. Lakshmi Chaya was noticed in the movie called Gumnam. Jante hai jaan ho, ajina aasan ho. She was the mask wearing dancing lady. She was noticed with that in Gumnam. And unfortunately, there was another movie called Aya Sawan Jhumke, in which she did a wonderful dance role. She played a vamp character there. Unfortunately, in all these movies, Asha Parekh was the lead character. And they used to say that her acting, body language, the way she emoted, did chutti to the lead actress. So subsequently, Asha Parekh said, I don't want her to act in the movies in which I am acting. And Lakshmi Chaya just walked out. She said, I don't want to act under these circumstances. She opened a dance school in Bombay, taught a lot of people how to dance. And they say, many of these dances, especially the cinema dances, she was the one who started all that, which subsequently others caught up. And she was about 58 years old when she died of cancer. Lakshmi Chaya was very, very well known. I should see this movie, particularly Mera Gaon, Mera Desh. See that song. किसी किसी को बताऊं कैसे कैसे मैं छुपाऊं अपनी अपनी प्रेम कहानियां अपनी प्रेम कहानियां. You should see that. The last scene, when she will say, where is Vinod Khanna? People keep khada hai. She will do that dance action. And amazing. You should see those. There's something you should see. Well, we have about 8 minutes left in the time. And if anybody wants to share a story, welcome. We'll definitely do part 2 of this because I would like to add more stories and things like that from other parts of India. I would like to do part 2 of that. I'll do exclusively song-related stories, how songs were composed, what rag it was originally meant for, where it changed. We'll definitely look at some of them. If anybody would like to share, you're welcome. You're welcome to share. Yeah. One episode I must share with you. Raj Kapoor and Pran were very, very close friends. Extremely close. And they acted in some wonderful movies together. Chaliya, Jis Desh Mein Ganga Bahti Hai. Wonderful movies they did together. And Pran was the villain. Pran was the villain of, one day I'll tell you Pran's story by itself separately. He was such a villain that people did not name their children Pran, and girls did not want to marry anyone with the name Prannath. That was the background of Pran, they used to say. So Raj Kapoor was making the movie Bobby. He had very little finances, and this Mera Naam Joker had flopped. He was trying to revive. So he picked up actors. His own son, Dimple, so very little payment there. His Sadhu, Shailendra, writer, Apart from that, Shailendra Singh was for singing. Lakshmikant Behralal was music director. And then he picked up his Sadhu, Prem Chopra, to play one role. If you can see them, if you have seen the movie, Prem Naam Hai Mera, Prem Chopra. Okay, he picked up his Sadhu to play the role. So all these were Prem Naz to play, his brother-in-law to play the role. So he stuck it very cheap. He went to Raj Kapoor and said, Raj Bhai, Pran, and said, I can't pay you now. But if the movie is a hit, I will pay. Pran said, I'm not trying, give me 1 rupee. And they acted. The movie was made, and Pran made an amazing role in that. And then the movie was such a big hit that it revived Raj Kapoor's fortunes. And when it revived Raj Kapoor's fortunes, Raj Kapoor sent Pran a check for 1 lakh rupees. Those days, Pran was charging 3 lakhs per movie. And Pran felt that a friend, I have done a favor, and when the movie makes it big, you want to make a 66% discount on that. So Pran sent a check back in envelope. Dhanyavad. And that was the end of Pran and Raj Kapoor's relationship. It's a very sad story. Sometimes, money brings an end to a lovely relationship. After that, he was also not very successful, but they never played any big roles together after that. Someday, of course, in another session, I'll tell you the story of Pran and some of these actors and other music directors which I would fondly like to share, especially Malayalam film industry. So we have 5 minutes left, and welcome anybody who would like to add anything. I wanted to add the story of, this is just a quiz, if people know, please tell me. This person's name was Sampuran Singh Kalra. What's his film name?
Gulzar.
Gulzar. Sampuran Singh Kalra. It's Gulzar. Lovely. Yes, Sardar. And he became an excellent music writer, Sampuran Singh Kalra. Yeah. Yes, Radhakrishnan, anything you want to say?
Nothing specific, Mohan. Thanks for a great evening. Some information very useful, at the same time very interesting as well. So I just want to thank you and thank the organizers and others for allowing me to join this great program. Thank you so much.
Yeah, one I think I would like to mention to all of you here, seniors today, is we bring, it's a forum, it's a platform for all seniors to come and explain, to exhibit your talents. We are having Sunday music programs, competitions, and almost every other day. So if you can send your, to whichever address you have, you send your contact numbers, you will get messages. Seniors today is a very regular program, and all of you should definitely participate. We have so many things under, and then you could subscribe to the magazine. It's free. And you can go to the website and see. It's free. You could subscribe to the magazine. It's free. And then whatever donations you can give. Apart from that, a few words about my good friend here, Sumitra, and is that the Red Curtain. And we also have a Dignity Foundation, Dignity Theatre, under which we do some plays. We have popularized Zoom and play online plays, and we do plays, and many of us have rediscovered ourselves, our self-images and our talents on the Zoom platform, on this online digital platform. There are plays going on. So please, if you're interested, please ping us your details. I'll send you detail. I'll send you you could log in and see us perform. Perhaps there's an actor hidden inside, who knows? We could have somebody. I didn't know I was a good actor. Our friend Sumit discovered the actor. There are so many of them here. There's Raghuji, TCR. Oh, he's a wonderful actor. He's 80 years old and he played a 40-year-old man waiting to get married. Lovely role he played. We have some wonderful actors here. That's Raghu. Raghu Anna, our friend from Chennai, he played a great role here.
Thank you.
Wonderful people here. So it is a wonderful platform.
It is our Dignity Foundation where we are all the members there. It is for the seniors, about 50 plus. We have got a physical meeting as well as Zoom meetings we are conducting. It was started by Dr. Shilu Srinivasan, and it was for seniors, for the well-being of seniors, or dignity to maintain our living. That way it is going. There is another magazine, Dignity Dialogue. So we are all there. So from there only we have started, and the Dignity Theatre was promoted by our Sumitji, Red Curtain International. It was more than 25 years old, from Bengal. He is a Bengali. He has started. So it is going very well. So we are spending time very happily. That is what, because after retirement, we don't know how to spend the time. This is only various way. As we are now in the seniors today, we are there in this group. Similarly, Dignity Foundation, there is A to Z, some singing and seniors, they are only conducting here. So in various forums, we are meeting, and all we are seniors, we are spending the time, that's all. So the time given for me for 2 minutes to mention about that, I am very happy. I am getting more members in these seniors today, because It is doing a wonderful job. Seniors today, they are conducting almost every now and then. Only where we miss is when we have got our program in Dignity Foundation, we miss here. Otherwise, it's a very good forum for us to meet all of you. So
in fact, what we have done is in seniors today, our programs, especially on Mondays, we put it 5:30 so that the people from Dignity can join us after their meeting.
Yeah,
Some of them are busy today, but many of them have joined.
No, your program has been very much adjusted for Dignity Foundation because 4 to 5:30. So they have made it 5:30. Very much thankful to that way because we want to definitely attend your session. So we have made it very easy, really good. So we are getting it. One or two we miss because it clashes. Otherwise, we are attending almost morning and all. We are very free. We are attending all seniors today. And that is going very well. Thank you.
And Kalpana ji, you wanted to share something?
Nothing, sir. It was a very interesting session, very enjoyable. We could have some more sessions. I have one suggestion.
Yeah.
Actually, in seniors today, you can have some play or story. All of us can read that and then have some meaningful discussion, reviews of the book to understand the different perspectives of the same substance, the same content.
Fine. I have Archana here. Archana, who's one of the organizers, and we'll discuss with Archana and some of the other organizers.
Yeah, I'll convey this to my team, and we will discuss.
Archana is here, and then we'll discuss.
That will also be interesting.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, sure. We'll do that.
So that'll be something. That'll be wonderful. And yeah, Kalpana, you could also join us for acting. No problem at all.
Yes, sir. I would like to.
I will introduce you to our big theater, and you could definitely. I'll send you a link. You can attend first Sunday of every month. We have what is called a theater adda. Adda is a Bengali word for get together.
Yes, yes.
Adda is adda. I can't translate it in any other language.
I know adda.
Adda mane adda. Aar kichu bola jaye. So I will send you an invitation for our next adda. Please do join. We'll be discussing a subject. Last month's subject was yesterday's subject was how I loved theatre. How I fell in love with theatre. Possibly the next subject, how I fell in love with myself after acting the first time. Maybe, I don't
know. Somebody can also read or recite a story or give a gist of the story.
Okay.
And we can have a smallish discussion.
Wonderful. We'll do that, Ramayan.
That is also possible because there are world famous stories. There are statewide famous stories. There are nationwide famous stories.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we can either read the story itself, assuming that it is to be a short one, or else give the gist and see if there are parallels in other languages.
Wonderful. We'll do that. In fact, there are a very good point. There's a novel called Jane Eyre, if you had read this.
Yeah,
wonderful novel.
Yeah.
Jane Eyre was made as a movie in Tamil, if you can recall.
No, I'm sorry.
Shanti Nilayam.
Oh, I see. Shanti Nilayam has some parallel with Sound of Music also, right?
No, the major portion was Shanti Nilayam. Major portion was, Mad Woman, Papamma, laughing and all was Jane Eyre. They just put in some music there from Sound of Music. There was a Hound of Baskervilles, which was made in Hindi as Kohara. No, sorry, as 20 Saal Baad. Kohara was also an English movie. So there's a lot of things.
So we can just give you a gist and see if there are running parallels in other languages.
Wonderful. Great idea. Great ideas have come. Archana ji will note it down and we will share it with our team and we'll come back.
Because we have some regional writers who write extremely well. I don't know whether their talent is recognized elsewhere. For instance, say T. Janaki Raman in Tamil.
Yes. So thank you very much, folks. Thank you very much for being with us.
It's always good, sir. Welcome. One more up.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Giving nice information.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Have a wonderful Monday and rest of the week. We'll meet till you get and make the next announcement. Maybe Monday after next, I'll be down. I'll be ready with one more episode of storytelling from some other food. Let's see. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.